Hello everybody, so here we are again online with movement and yoga with me, Kat, and I thought we could return back to focusing on our spine. I think the first week we started this looking at our spine and the nervous system, so I thought we'd focus a little bit more back on the spine and the movements that we can help with our spine, opening up lots of space in the spine to help everyday movements become a lot easier and smoother. That's the plan anyway. So to begin, I'd just like to read from this book. It's Vanda Scarabelli, Awakening the Spine. Being young again. The function of the spine is to elongate, and in this elongation, its elasticity and youth are regained. It is not a battle against old age, but rather a bringing back to life of those parts of the body which have been perhaps neglected for so long and which have lost their suppleness. The function of the body is to collect energy from the ground. By grasping the gravity of the earth, we become connected to the soil, from which plants and trees also receive part of their nourishment. The other part is given by air, water, and the sun. This contact with the soil will enable us to expand, not only vertically, but also on a horizontal level, all around, like the branches of a tree, extending and bending forwards, sideways and backwards. We have lost contact with our bodies, and re-establishing this connection is what we try to do. The body should respond immediately with the requests of the mind. The smaller the gap between the two, the more efficient the action. And in medical terms, this is called the reflex. There is no age limit one can start yoga or movement. When 70 or 80 years old, and no damage will occur if the movements originate from the spine. People feel elated, and it gives them a comfort and encouragement to discover that it is possible for them to control or modify their bodies. To talk about old age as an impediment is an excuse. And she says, a lady of 70 was delighted to follow the movement along her back, saying, "It feels like being young again." So I hope by the end of today's session, everyone feels smooth, easier in the body, and perhaps feeling a little young again. Maybe you are young. So, wanted to show you in this yoga anatomy book, I'll get a little bit closer. It's a great book, shows all sorts of things going on in the body when you move. These are extreme movements of a very flexible spine, but it's just to show you the movement range that the vertebrae can move, extending and forward bending. So a back extension and then a forward bend. So it's a huge range of movement in the vertebrae. Of course, if you have a sore back, please be careful today. You know how far you can go. Always mean to move as keeping it comfortable for you. So here's another movement of the spine. So twisting, side to side. And then the sideways one, I think you can see that there. So it's like when we let our ear tip to the shoulder. That's the beginning of that movement. Just like this. So we're looking at different ways that the spine can move today, and hopefully we can get more suppleness and openness in the body. for our everyday life and routines. Might make washing up a lot easier, or pouring a cup of tea even more delightful. Okay, so I'll stop whittering on. Let's come up to standing. So I'm going to take a space over here. Hopefully you can see me. And I'm going to start just walking the feet in the floor. So I'll turn sideways so you can see. So toes through the ball of the foot, all the way underneath to the sole of the foot to the heel, waking up the feet, as though we're going for a walk. Just letting the spine be loose as it can be, allowing that to just follow the movements of the feet. Great. And just allow the breath to settle. Have a natural breath. How's the head and the neck? Is that comfortable? Great. And then just come to a neutral. So we want the feet nice and spread on the floor. The toes can relax, so they're not gripping or anything. The toes can just gently rest on the floor. And the weight between the ball of the foot and the heel, you want somewhere in between, so the legs can just hang like pendulums up into the pelvis, allowing the pelvis to sit however's comfortable on the top of the femurs, and the spine can float all the way up to the sky, and the arms are loose. Great. So let's start with some Do-In. I don't think we've done that for a couple of weeks, so that's the tapping in the body. So let's begin by shaking out the wrists and hands, as though they're cooked spaghetti, very soft, malleable, as if there's no bones. And then coming into the wrists and the forearms. Don't really know where your arms are going to go. Don't have to think too much. Just let them wiggle around into the elbow and the upper arm. That's it. Allowing the biceps and triceps to relax. Lovely. Great. And so with this movement, so allow the arms to relax. With this movement, we want, so I'm going to start with fingertips, loose wrists and hands on the top of the head. So it kind of feels like heavy raindrops, tapping all the way around the head, the skull, the sides of the skull, where the ears are, to the back, the occipital point, so that nice ridgy bit near the neck. Can tap onto the forehead. So slightly lighter tapping here. So I'll just come a little bit closer so you can see. So I'm very gently tapping the forehead, around the eyes, onto the cheekbones and the nose. Underneath the cheekbones where the top of the teeth are, on the face there, in the mouth. Along the jaw, so I've gone out to the ear. And then fingertips along the jaw, so bottom row of teeth now. All the way to the chin. And then out again. I'm going to go around the ears and down the back. And now I'm tapping either side of the spine. Great. And then I'm going to take one arm across and rest the elbow in that hand and tap from the neck outwards, always outwards. Now I've gone to a loose fist, so never too clenched because that will hurt and hurt your arm. We want to be tapping out all the toxins and the things that we don't need, allowing breath and movement and space into the body. So tapping along the top of the shoulder from the neck all the way out to the tip of the shoulder there. Great, and then we'll swap over. Same thing again on this side. Loose fist from the neck all the way to the tip of the shoulder. Great. Okay, I'm going to stand up again so you can see the next bit. So from the shoulders, coming to the chest, like Tarzan. You can let some air out or yawn or make a noise. So in Chinese medicine, there's so many meridians that run channels that run on the chest, but there's the lung meridian that starts here on the shoulder, front of the shoulder. So by tapping this, we're allowing fresh air in, and on an out breath, we can really let go of the stuff that we don't need. Allowing to yawn. Great. And I'm going to go back to fingertips, and I'm going to tap down the inside of the arm all the way to the palm. Turn the hand over and tap up the outside of the arm to the shoulder. Let's do that a couple more times. Tapping down the inside of the arm to the palm, turn the palm over and back up the outside. Great, let's do that once more. So from the shoulder, really allowing the wrist that's tapping to be loose. Makes life far easier. Great, and then back onto the chest. And down the other arm. So down the middle of the arm, to the palm of the hand, turn the palm over and tapping back up the outside of the arm, up to the shoulder. Let's do that a couple times more. Really allowing any yawns or air to come in. Really shifting our breath by tapping on these meridians. Great, and then coming back up to the chest, and I'm going to do fingertips onto the sternum, down the center, all the way down gently on the diaphragm area, and then underneath the ribs, tapping with the fingertips, and then coming up the side, so I'm tapping the side of my ribs here, only going as far as is comfortable on the shoulders. Side of the ribs, perhaps you can lean over and give a nice tap, or the opposite arm, that might be easier. Opening the ribs, great, and then gently on the belly, and then we're going to come to leaning forward a little bit. I'll turn around so you can see it, and I'm just tapping the kidney area with very loose fists. So only going as far as is comfortable on the shoulders. I'm about here. I can reach here, but it becomes uncomfortable on the shoulder. So I'm going to stay here. All the way down either side of the spine to the sacrum, and then to the glutes, all that area there, and then to the side of the pelvis, giving slaps. So we're going to go down the front side aspect of the leg, and we're going to only go down as far as is comfortable, always soft in the knees, making sure the head and neck are released so we're not holding the head here. Want to really allow that to relax. And then we're going to come up the front inside of the leg. We're going to do that 3 times, and then we're going to go right down the center of the back of the leg, and then up the inside 3 times. So let's begin. Slapping. So I've opened my palm, really loose wrists again, softening the knees. So front edge aspect of the outer leg, and then up the front inside to the pelvis at the top. Only go as far as is comfortable. If you can't get to the feet, it really doesn't matter. Even just going to the knees and back again. So down the front side aspect, make sure your head and neck are released, and up the inside front aspect. Do that once more. Now we'll swap to the back, right down the center of the leg at the back, and then we'll come up right in the inside of the leg. So we've done stomach and spleen energizing tapping, and we're going to do bladder and kidney. So it's really going to help our spine relax and move through postures later. So Tapping the back of the legs all the way down the back. Soft in the knees, all the way to the feet if that's comfortable. And then up the inside of the legs to the pelvis. Twice more. Off we go. Down the backs of the legs. Up the insides. Keeping the knees soft the whole time. Feet are spreading. Head and neck are released. Great. All the way to the centre. Lovely. And we can just do some belly rubs. So from the right pelvis, we're going to go up to the ribs, across the top of the ribs to the left, and then down. So this is the way the digestive channel works, the way our guts move. They move in this direction. So it's really going to be good for calming nerves, great for digestion, and it's just quite a calming, reassuring thing to do. Just noticing where your breath is. And then just letting the hands rest just a little bit below the belly button. Great. And then we can release the arms. And we'll come back to our usual standing movements. So if we shift our weight to one foot, making sure that we're nice and tall on that leg. We're not collapsing in the hips, you know, the usual one at the bar or in a shop. Let's allow this leg to be nice and long so we can just transfer the weight over. So it's super easy for the spine to keep growing upwards towards the sky. So ball of the foot. Let's do circles with the ball of the foot. Oh, I think today my right foot's a little crunchy. I think it needs a little attention. Perhaps where the toes are attached or the back of the ball of the foot, side. Great, and change direction. Oh, that's better, it's feeling a lot smoother. So circling, basically our body is put together so we always move in spirals, even when the joints are doing what seems to be a very straight movement. There's so many spirals in the tendons and the bones to allow the arm to fold out straight. So it's the same with the legs and the spine as well. So spirals are really good for our body. And then gently tucking the toes under. If that's too much, just lift the heel. I'll turn sideways so you can see, lifting the heel up. Just want to gently open the front of the ankle here. So gently lifting the heel or tucking the toes under. You can soften the supporting leg if that's easier. You can play with where you place your foot, depending where's comfortable for you. And then step that back into a lunge, opening the back of the leg from the heel all the way up to the pelvis here. Great, let's do that once more. Gently pressing the toes, opening the front of the ankle very gently. And then stepping that out into a lunge. Great, allowing the leg to lengthen, the back of the leg to open up all the way up to the pelvis. Great, we'll do the same with the other leg. So we're going to shift the weight into the one we've been working on and making sure that we're nice and elongated through the leg into the pelvis. And we'll do circles with the ball of the foot. Perhaps where the toes are attached, going into the ball of the foot, the edges, big toe side, little toe side. And changing direction. Perhaps there's an area that feels a bit sore and you don't want to touch it, that's completely fine. Or perhaps it's an area that really feels like something needs working out. Great, and then we're just going to gently tuck the toes under, opening the front of the ankle. Great, and then stepping that back into a lunge, opening the back of the leg all the way up from the heel to the pelvis. We'll do that once more, gently tucking the toes under, allowing the front of the ankle to open, and then stepping that back, opening the back of the leg all the way up into the pelvis. Lovely. And then we'll come to place our feet a little closer together, or they can be touching if that's comfortable. And we'll do our knee circles. So if it's a little sore in your lower back, you can stay holding the thighs at the top and doing more subtle circles with the knees. If you can get to the knees, that's also great. So we always want to make sure, wherever we're at, that the shoulders are rolling and melting down the ribs at the back. We're not holding anything around the neck, making sure the head and neck are nice and loose. So circling the knees. Remembering it's our way that the synovial fluid can move around the body to oil all the joints. They don't have to be huge circles. They can be quite subtle and small. See how you feel today. And then change direction. So we're also oiling our ankles by doing this, and our lower back and sacrum. This one's your 3-in-1. Great. And then by undoing that, we're going to let the circles stop, soften the knees more, and we'll uncurl to come all the way up to standing. Head's the last to come up. And then stepping out a little wider. So you can have your feet either facing forward in parallel, or allow them to open a little if that's more comfortable and more ease on the pelvis. So we're going to do some circles with the pelvis. We're going to make sure that the knees are still soft but not locked, but keeping the legs nice and long, nice and elongated out of the floor, keeping the feet spread on the ground and the toes relaxed. That's great. Soft ankles, soft knees. So circling with the legs nice and long. Making sure our shoulders are nice and relaxed. The head and neck are loose as well. Great. And then change direction. Great. Really softening and loosening those hip joints deep inside the pelvis. Great. So from here, letting those circles ebb away. This time we're going to soften the knees. So I'm placing my feet more parallel, but you can keep them exactly where it's comfortable for you. And we're going to do more imagining the tail, kind of like a big monkey tail or cat tail. So allowing, it's kind of like a figure of 8, side to side. So swishing this huge tail behind you. Soft knees, soft ankles, allowing the pelvis to take the spine for a nice ride. So allowing the spine and the arms to really just go with the movement of the pelvis. And this can be smaller, doesn't have to be huge. Just allowing whatever feels comfortable today. Great. And then allowing that to ebb away. So that's the monkey or the cat tail. Now we're going to go to the dinosaur tail. So huge tail out from the pelvis. So we want to really soften the knees here. And it's going to swish back and then through the legs and forwards. So moving the tail backwards and forwards. Really allowing the back of the pelvis and underneath the legs. So you can lengthen the legs as the tail goes back and then soften them as the tail and the pelvis gently tips under. You can also do this one a lot more subtly as well. Doesn't have to be huge, but really keeping the legs nice and soft, allowing the pelvis to be able to swing forward and backwards. Great, and then let that one ebb away as well. And we'll come back to standing. So we are in more of a parallel, bringing the legs closer underneath us again. So either hip width apart or shoulder width apart, up to you. And this time we have the fishtail, so it moves this way. So I'm going to soften my knees, my feet are flat and grounded, the toes are relaxed, and the tailbone's going to move from side to side like this. So I'm allowing the rest of the spine to join in. So you can go whatever speed feels good for you. You can do it slower fishtail, or really let go. Really let the spine join in, side to side. And the head and the neck. Let's not forget the head and the neck. Great. And then let that go and come to standing. Just noticing where your breath is. Perhaps your heart's pumping a little bit more and you're feeling a bit warmer. So from here, we're just going to roll one shoulder back and forward. We're going to do quite exaggerated circles with the shoulder so the ribs can join in. So softening the knees, really softening the knees. So we can lengthen the knees as the shoulder comes up and soften them again. So only doing the movement as far as is comfortable for you, opening the ribs at the front and the side, allowing the spine to twist and curl, opening the spine at the front and the back. So the shoulders go forward, up and back, allowing the shoulder blades to slide down the ribs at the back when you let go of the arm. That's great. Soft feet, soft ankles, soft knees. Lovely. And then let that ebb away as well. Then we're going to do 3 breaths. So as we breathe in, we're going to allow the shoulders to draw up to our ears, and then on an out breath, we can let the shoulders drop. So breathing in, drawing the shoulders up to the ears. On an out breath, really letting them go. Twice more, breathing in, allowing the shoulders up towards the ears. Breathing out, dropping the shoulders. So once more, breathing in, allowing the shoulders to rise up to the ears. And then on an out breath, releasing them. Lovely. Then we're just going to take the head to one side, just looking, only go as far as is comfortable so we don't strain the neck or voice box. We're really just taking the head nice and easy from side to side. Only going as far as is comfortable. Perhaps it's less today than the other day. That's completely fine as well. Just allowing and accepting what we have today in our bodies. Lovely. And then come to center and then chin to chest. So allowing the chin just to drop towards the chest, allowing the back of the neck to opening the space into the occipital point, so the start of the skull. Keeping the shoulders upright, so the shoulders don't come with us. Not just yet anyway, so allowing chin to chest. And then we'll allow our gaze, so our eyes are going to take us to look all the way up towards the ceiling, only as far as is comfortable, allowing space in the back of the neck as well. So we don't want to collapse in the back of the neck, we want to allow space in the front of the throat. And the same thing again, chin to chest. Allowing the back of the neck to be free and soft. And again, allowing the gaze to take you to look all the way up towards the sky, keeping the space at the back of the neck as well. And then coming back down, allowing the head just to come back to neutral. Okay, so from here, I'll just turn sideways so you can see the movement a bit more. So we're going to keep our feet in parallel, either hip width or shoulder width apart. And we're just going to allow the arms to float up. So my thumbs are outwards and allowing the arms just to drop. So catching them and dropping them. Allowing them to go back behind you. So I'm not forcing the arm, I'm just allowing them to drop. That's great. And then allowing the knees to bend as well as the arms swing. So just allowing a natural breath. There's nothing much to do. Just allowing the breath to go where it needs to with the swings of the arms. Soft knees, the feet are planted on the floor, rooting down and the toes are relaxed. So this one's really opening the lung channel in the arms. So all the tapping that we've done is allowing this swing to be easier in the shoulder. We're activating the channel more. Great. Ooh, allowing any yawns or breaths, big breaths to come in. Making sure the head and neck are released as well. And then gently, gently allow the arms to slow down, making the movement smaller and smaller. Great. And then just standing there. Just noticing how you feel in your body. Legs nice and long. Pelvis is just sitting nicely on the top of the legs. And the spine can grow all the way up to the sky. And the arms are relaxed. Great. So from here, if we do some side movements. So I'm facing forward so you can see. And I'm allowing the movement to come from my lower belly and spine. So I'm not allowing the arms to move me, or the shoulders from side to side, or the legs. So I'm going to keep the legs nice and grounded, allowing gravity, like in the quote before, to absorb earth energy for us to be able to be free on the top of the spine. So soft knees, and the pelvis is just resting nicely on the top of the legs. Feet are spread in the ground. We're going to imagine this is a lighthouse from the belly, and you can place one hand on the belly if that's easier. The movement's just going to come from below the belly button. It's our center of us, our center of our beings, the strongest point in the body. Just allowing this movement to take you from side to side. So the rest of the spine can join in, and the arms are relaxed, so they're probably going to join in as well. We're going to keep the space in between the legs, so there's no collapsing in the knees, so it takes pressure off the knees and the lower back. So twisting from side to side from the belly and lower spine. So I'm going to release my arm, and you can let this get a little bit bigger if that's comfortable for your spine. And the head and the neck, the last point that joins in. Just allowing everything to go for a ride. Having a natural breath. Nothing much more to do than just to twist. Allowing the arms to relax and the head and the neck just to go for the ride with the rest of the spine. Allowing any yawns or deep breaths to come in. And then gradually, we're going to let that get smaller and smaller. So even as the arms get smaller, the movement's still going in the belly and the spine. Still going. That's it. Great. We can lengthen the legs again. So standing here, you can stand here with your eyes open, or if you wish to close them, just gonna see what everyone's feeling like, how you are right now after all of this energy, exercise and movement. And as we're standing here, I'm just gonna read a bit for the spine, a bit of a visualization. So just allowing these words to waft over you as you stand nice and tall, feet are rooting into the ground so the spine can grow up towards the sky. The spine is a long limb, spacing head, rib cage, pelvis. From the tip of the coccyx up to the base of the skull, between the ears, a long spine falling up. In the spine, one curve, levers another. The curve of the lumbar rises into the curve of the thorax. The curve of the neck rises up into the head. See the curves of the spine, lengthening upward and downwards. Allow the rest of the body to balance around a curving river of spine. Lovely. So from here, if we just walk the feet out, or you can shake the legs, whatever's comfortable for you, walking the feet. Great, and you can, you can open the eyes if you have them closed. Great. Shaking them out. Lovely. So we're just going to, whilst we're standing, so you can lean against a wall if that's easier. We're just going to allow one hand to slide down the leg to wherever's comfortable, allowing the space in the ribs to open and then back up again. So only sliding down the leg with your hand as far as is comfortable. The rest of the spine joins in. So we want to make sure that we're still facing front and the shoulders and everything and ribs are following the hand. So we want to make sure that we don't close at the front or open too much at the back. Really following the line, imagining perhaps you do have stripes on the trousers, really following, I'll turn sideways, so we're really following the stripes on the trousers and back up. Only going as far as is comfortable, so it might only be top of the leg still. See what's comfortable for you today and allowing the head and neck to join in as well. Great, so making these two your last one. So from here, we've done our sideways movements. We're just going to see how is it if we come a little bit wider with the feet, and we can allow the knees to soften if that's okay. See where your feet want to be, perhaps in front in parallel, or you'd like to open them up a little more. See what's comfortable for the pelvis. We're just going to soften the knees and allow, so I'm sliding my right hand down my right leg, following that track, so I'm not closing forward or opening up the sternum, really sliding sideways. And then just allowing that other arm to uncurl towards the sky and back again. So I'm keeping my legs long if that's comfortable for you. You can soften the legs, softening the knees if that's easier. So allowing that arm to unfold towards the sky. Great. Really allowing the ribs to join in, the head and the neck to go with the movement as well, with the feet still planted on the ground. Lovely. And then making that movement smaller until it's the arm taking you up to the ceiling, with just the top of the shoulders tipping. Great. And then keeping the spine upright and just allowing each arm to float up and down again. Lovely. And relaxing that arm down. So from here, we're going to go onto the floor on our all fours to do some cat-cow movement with the spine. If it's too much for you to get onto the floor, you can use a chair. So I'll just demonstrate the chair first before I get comfortable on the floor. So making sure that you're not too close to the chair or too far away. Kind of want somewhere where you can take your own weight, but then also allowing the weight to rest through the hands on the chair as though you were on the floor with the palms. And we want to make sure that arms are nice and elongated up into the shoulder joint. So we're not sinking into the neck or the spine, nice long spine. And same with the knees, I'm going to allow them to soften, so not too long. Soft knees and the feet are planted in the ground. And you can play with the breath, perhaps allowing the tailbone and the head to drop on an out breath. And then breathing in, we're going to go past neutral and allow the tailbone and the head to move away from each other. Perhaps that's on an in breath, or the other way around. Allowing the breath to come in whichever way works for you. And only going as far as is comfortable. Perhaps today it's only small. Or perhaps you'd like to move a little more today, if that's comfortable. So I'm going to now demonstrate that movement on all fours. So if you're on the chair, you can keep going as much as you wish. So allowing the knees to soften to come off the chair, put the weight back on your feet, and then uncurl to come back up to standing. Take a rest whenever you need to. So I'm just going to lower the camera so you can see on the floor. So coming to all fours, really allowing the feet and shins to relax and the knees soft on the floor as well. Perhaps just lifting each knee up, allowing the weight to drop to the ground. And it's also massaging the lower back and sacrum by lifting the leg and creating space there. Great. So we want the legs to be directly below the pelvis to the ground, taking the weight evenly from the pelvis. We'll do the same with the hands. So pressing the hands, pouring them kind of like a cat into the ground. And the same with the arms. We want to make sure they're nice and long, but not locked. Nice and long and elongated, and allowing the shoulders to be able to grow upwards and out. So we're not sinking in the front. We want that nice and long up through the arms, just like we do standing through the legs. Elongated all the way up to the shoulder joint. So same thing here. We're going to allow the head and the tail to drop towards the ground. That can be on an in-breath or an out-breath. And then allowing the tailbone and the head, so we're going to go past neutral spine and away from each other. So find what's good for you for the breath. And we'll do this for a little while. Only going as far as is comfortable. Resting when you need to, if that's too much for the wrists. You can sit back or shake them out, shake the wrists out. Great, making this one your last one. And then coming to a neutral spine. I have one teacher that imagines that these arms and legs are like the washing poles, and the spine is the cosmic washing line, holding all the chakras in line to hang out to dry outside. So keeping our lovely cosmic washing line hung out nicely. How is it to look to one side and then the other? So we're allowing the shoulders to come with us. You can soften the elbows a little if that's easier. Only looking as far as is comfortable. And then how is it to allow the pelvis? So we're seeing if we can see our tailbone. So folding in each side. We want to make sure we don't drop in the center of the spine. So we've still got a nice long back. So looking from side to side. Okay. And then releasing that and coming to neutral. Now I'm going to sit back and release by shaking my wrists. So you can do this too, or perhaps you need to sit on a block if that's easier. Or if you're on the chair, you can come to standing and also do the same. Perhaps you need to shake your legs out as well. So people who are using a chair, you can also do the movement from side to side with the spine, keeping the knees soft and seeing if you can take your head to look towards the tailbone. Great. So if it's comfortable, coming back to all fours. If you need to, with the wrists, if it's easier, if you get a cushion and have it close to you and you want the front edge where your hands are, so the fingertips are still touching the floor, but the heel of the hands being lifted, this is going to take some strain off the wrist there. So you can do that if that's easier for your wrists. So coming back to all fours, or if you're on the chair, I'll demonstrate in a moment how to do this standing with a chair. So we're in our lovely all fours cosmic washing line. Knees are under pelvis, so we're not leaning back like this or too far forward, and the same with the shoulders. So we're a really sturdy, strong structure. So from here, we're just going to draw. So I've got the left toes. I'm going to tuck the toes under and lengthen the leg away. Great. And then rolling the leg. So I'm rolling the foot on the floor. So it's big toe side all the way to the heel, if that's comfortable for you. And then just lifting this arm up, if that's comfortable, and opening, and then letting that go and rolling it all back in and undoing. So I think we've done this in another week before. So allowing the side of the body to open up with the leg nice and long in the pelvis. So right toes tuck under. So we're just exploring the movement first. And if you wish to continue with this movement with breath, we'll do so in a minute. So tuck the right toes under, elongate that leg away nice and long. So we're going to roll the foot over the ball of the foot to the side of the foot. Allow the body to open up, press into the arm that's on the floor and open the arm up sideways. If it's too, and then undo everything like that. If it's too much to open the arm fully, even just lifting gently the shoulder and then coming back down again. If it's totally too much, just do the legs. So tucking the left toes under, lengthening the leg away, so the shoulders are nice and long as well, rolling the foot on the ground, the pelvis open. So now we've got this nice opening in the side of the body, and the arm can gently float up towards the sky. and back again, curling everything back in. Once more on the right, so toes tuck under, leg lengthens, roll the foot, that's great. And then arm curling everything, if that's comfortable, lovely, and then undoing that. So if you're comfortable doing that still on all fours, I'm going to demonstrate the chair version. So you can breathe in as the toes tuck under, breathing out, the leg lengthens away. Breathing in, roll, breathing out, everything opens. Breathing in again, folding everything in and breathing out. Breathing in, toes tuck under. Breathing out, the leg lengthens. Breathing in, roll the foot over, and breathing out, everything opens. Breathing in and rolling back to the center. So the leg moves away on the out breath, and so does the arm. So play around with that, and I'm going to demonstrate on the chair for people that need this more standing. So we are not too close to the chair, not too far away. The knees are soft, and I'm just gently pressing my way into the chair here. So same thing. So I'm going to lift the heel up on an in-breath. On an out-breath, lengthen the leg away. So I'm now going to play with, how is it with the leg, supporting leg, lengthened or soft? It might be easier for you in different ways. So have a play with that. I'm going to soften the standing leg for now, rolling the foot out. I'm not placing the heel on the floor, I'm keeping the toes on the floor. And then the spine can join in, ribs can open, and lengthening my arm towards the sky. You can't see, but it's going up towards the sky. And then folding it all back in. Great. So we're going to breathe in. Breathing out, the right leg draws away. I'm keeping the toes on the ground. So play with the leg that's supporting either long, elongated and long, or with a soft knee. So rolling the foot out and keeping my toes on the floor. So the pelvis opens, side of the rib opens, and then I'm going to open the arm up towards the sky. On an out breath, and then breathing in, curling everything back in, and the leg. So we're opening the sides of our body. Same thing, breathing in, breathing out, the leg moves away from the body. Breathing in, roll the leg and toes. Breathing out, opening the side of the body and the ribs. Lovely. Then breathing in, rolling that all back in, and the leg. On the other side. So breathing in, breathing out, sending that leg away, rolling the toes to open, the pelvis, breathing out, the arm elongates towards the ceiling, and then closing it all back in. Lovely. And then to undo that, just soften the knees, put more weight into the feet, and then uncurl to come back up to standing. Anytime you need to rest, you can come to sitting or lying on the floor. Do exactly what you feel you need to do. Great. So from here, if we've been on all fours or sitting, we're just going to come to a resting position for a little while. So if you've been using the chair, you can sit on the chair. Unless you want to get down onto the floor, that's perfect as well. So we're just going to come to a supine rest, allowing the spine to uncurl on the floor. The feet are spread, rooting into the ground, and the knees are floating up towards the ceiling. And we just want to allow the pelvis to relax into the ground. And the head and the neck are released as well. So unless you want to stay here, we won't want to drift off too much. We won't stay in this position too long. Unless you wish to end the practice lying here, that's totally fine. So just allowing the head to roll from side to side. So allowing the back of the head on the floor. Perhaps you've got a cushion and you can roll your head around on the cushion, side to side, allowing the neck to relax, and the throat to relax as well. And then coming to neutral with the head. And then we're going to do the same with the pelvis, if that's comfortable. So the front of the pelvis is going to move us, kind of like the twist we did from the belly. So this is kind of from lying down. Movements coming from the pelvis and the belly, and the legs just gently joining in. I'm not aiming for my legs to go on the floor. It's a subtle movement, allowing the lower back to have a small massage and the sacrum to release and relax into the ground. So allowing our bodies, allowing some gravity in towards the earth so we can spring upwards with ease. Having a natural breath and making sure the head and neck are nice and relaxed as well. And then allowing that movement to stop, coming back to neutral. Maybe you want to rearrange your shoulders and the head. How is the spine feeling now? Noticing where your breath is in the body. So from here, if you would like to continue, if you haven't drifted off already, we're just going to make our way back up to standing. So taking your time, so rolling onto the side of the body, really allowing your hands on the floor. There's no rush at all. Really taking our time to come up to standing. Allowing the knees to be soft, the pelvis as well. The feet can spread in the floor to take your weight. So I'm just going to allow the camera to move so you can see my head and arms. So making your way up to standing. Lovely. So from here, with all this lovely movement we've done on our all fours or using the chair, I'm just going to put it into a little sequence before we can completely relax and do our meditation to end. So from here, we want our feet in parallel. I am just going to move this back a bit so you can see a bit better. Great, that's better. So feet are in parallel. I'm just going to face slightly off so you can see my leg perhaps behind me. Great. So I'm going to soften the knees and the arms are just going to float out to the side and then come to the center and draw into like an upside down prayer position. And then they're going to draw up. So we're just lifting the shoulders like this and then releasing them again. So softening the knees, the arms open out to the side. Then they come back together, knees soft, palms together, and allow everything to draw up. And the shoulders can come up towards the ears, and then release them. Right? And we can allow the arms to go all the way up to the sky. Lovely. And then we're going to allow the weight to shift into the left foot, the right foot on heels. And we're going to lengthen the leg away behind us, and my toes are still on the floor. And then I'm going to allow the arms to undo. So I've got one leg, just about see, one leg behind, and all the weight's on the standing leg without sinking in. It's really elongated, the knees not locked, but the leg's nice and long. Great. And then from here, we're going to let the toes open, so rolling toes all the way so the foot's flat on the floor. Lovely. And then we're going to soften the front knee, softening the front knee and opening the arms out wide and back again. We'll do that twice more. So we'll do that 3 times in total. Great. And then from here, with the weight on the front leg, so I've got the left leg bent here, I'm going to lengthen this front leg so the toes gently peel off at the back. Great. And then my arms are going to tilt. So my hands on my leg and my other arms up towards the sky. And if you wish to, you can just gently let that leg come off the floor if that's okay. And then undoing that. And then we'll unfold everything. So I'm going to step in, allow the arms to open up to the sky and undo. So realise I probably did the wrong side first for you to see a little easier. So I'll do the left leg so you can see it opening this way. Great. So we're going to soften in the knees. The arms open out to the side. Softening the knees, hands in upside down prayer. Allowing the shoulders to draw up to the ears and release that. The arms floating all the way up to the sky. So they're just about like this. Shoulders nice and easy. Great. Then I'm going to shift the weight to my right foot. Keeping that leg, that supporting leg nice and long. The left toes can undo and lengthening the leg away. That's great. And then we're just going to allow the weight to pour onto the foot, but we're going to turn the foot out like we did on all fours or the chair. Rest the weight of the heel on the ground and allow the arms to open. So it was very slow. So I'm going to do roll the foot and allow the arms to open. And then we're going to do 3 opening. So this leg's nice and long and the knee at the front opens with the arms and close. Opening and closing. Once more, opening and closing. Now this time the front knee slips forward, softens forward, opening the arms. I'm going to lengthen the legs so the left toes come up, and then I'm going to gently allow my hand to come to the leg and see if the leg at the back just tips up. Great. Then I'm going to undo the arms and uncurl this and let the arms come back to neutral. So I'll do right side, left side facing forward. Hopefully you can see it all. It's quite sunny today. It's quite blinding. Maybe I can close the curtain a little more so you can see. That's a bit better. Okay, so I'll do right side and left side, talking it through, and then we'll put the breath in there as well. I'll talk it through with you. So in parallel. So we're going to breathe into the belly. Breathe out, soften the arms, they just float out to the side like wings. Breathing in, drawing up that air all the way up through the diaphragm, the shoulders lift, and then breathing out, the arms come all the way up to the sky. Great. Shift the weight into the right leg. Left toes lift up off the floor. Lengthen the leg away. Great. I'm going to breathe in here as the toes open and then place the foot on the floor, breathing out. So we want to, so that's breathing in. I want to breathe out here. Great. So let's breathe in and breathe out as we gather in. Breathe in, opening, breathing out, gathering in. Once more, breathing in, breathing out, gathering in. This time, breathing in. Breathe out. We just want to lengthen the leg. The arms can touch. See if the leg just gently comes off the floor. Breathing in again and then uncurling that forward. Release the arms up to the sky and relax them. So let's do the other side. So breathing into the belly. Breathing out, the arms and the knees soften. Opening out to the side, breathing in, hands into upside down prayer, shoulders up towards the ears. Breathing out, the arms open all the way out to the side and up to the sky. This time shifting the weight to the left leg, allowing the right toes to lift, Great, I want to breathe out. Breathing in, roll the feet over, and then opening up and place the weight on that and allowing the arms to open. Great. So I want to breathe in, soften that left knee, breathe out as you gather. Breathing in, opening the whole body. Breathe out, gathering in. Once more, breathing out. Breathing in, breathing out, gathering in. This time we want to breathing in as we open. Breathing out, lengthen that supporting leg and allow the arms to tilt. You can keep the toes on the floor if that's enough, but maybe you just want to see if the leg comes off. Breathing in, undoing the arms, and then opening forward, arms up to the sky, and relaxing the arms there. So we're just going to do that twice more if that's comfortable for you. I hope you can see, it's quite bright in here. So I'm just going to do that twice more for you. Hopefully you can see that facing front. So I'm going to, no, you can't quite see my head. I'm terribly sorry about this. Great. Let's do this twice more. So I'm going to breathe into the belly. Feet are nice and spread on the floor. Ankles soft, knees soft, and the pelvis. Breathing into the belly. Breathing out, the arms soften and knees soften out to the side. Breathing in, everything draws in and up. Shoulders can lift. Breathing out, the arms float sideways and all the way up to the top. I'm going to shift my weight to the left foot, right toes up and off the floor. Great. Lengthen that leg away. Breathing in, toes open, open the arms and allow to come to neutral. So these toes are facing forward and these ones out that way. I'm going to breathe in and float forward. Breathe out. Everything gathers. Breathing in and opening. Breathing out, everything gathers. Once more, breathing in, opening. Breathe out, everything gathers. This time, breathing in, everything opens. Lengthening that leg on an out breath. Arms can tilt. Just seeing how that toe lifts off the floor. Lovely. Breathing in, opening the arms, and then uncurling forward. Allowing the arms to float to the ceiling and then undoing. So let's do the left side once more. So breathing into the belly. Breathing out, everything opens sideways. Breathing in, gathers upside down prayer. Gathering all the way up to the ears. Breathing out, the arms float all the way up to the side and up to the ceiling. Shift the weight into the right leg. Left toes move away on an out breath. We want to rotate and undo. So I'm breathing out here. We want to breathe in, everything opens. Breathing in, breathing out as everything gathers. Breathing in, opening. Breathing out, everything gathers. Once more, breathing in, everything opens. Breathing out, everything gathers in. Once more here, breathing in. And on an out breath, we want to lengthen the supporting leg, allow the arms to float. So I've got one hand on the leg. See if that back foot comes off the floor a little. Breathing in to under the arms, closing forward, arms up to the sky, and then undoing that. Lovely. Have a little shake out. I hope you could see everything. Trying to find a good angle for you to see. So apologies if you didn't quite see everything. The good thing is you can go back and play it again. So from here, also you can do that whole sequence using a chair. There's nothing wrong with moving through rather than the arms here. You can keep them here, moving this way. And then when you come to here, you can rest your weight on the chair. See if you can open the leg there, undo the lean forward and then close here. So it's always very good to use a chair if you're feeling a little wobbly today. So just come to sitting on the chair, making sure you're nice and comfortable. So feet flat, nice and flat on the floor. I'm sitting a little forward on the chair and my sitting bones are connected So nice and rooted down onto the chair, so my spine can grow up towards the sky. Lovely. So from here, just lifting the toes and relaxing them down. Lifting the toes and relaxing down. Once more, lifting just the toes and relaxing down. And placing my hands on the thighs here. Just going to move sideways. We've done it lots before. It's amazing for any arthritis or joint pain. And it's a great movement to cool down all the moving and opening we've done in the spine. So as we breathe into the belly and lower back, as we breathe out, I'm going to turn to the right. My right arm's floating up towards the sky. So just to shoulder height, I'm not going to go any further. Just going to go here, I think, and then coming back down. So breathing in, breathing out left side. Floating the arm up. You can follow the hand if that's comfortable. So we're just allowing the spine to join in. So it's not just the arm. If you need to bring the arm more front, that's also okay if it's too much to twist sideways. Lovely. So now let's add the other arm. So we're going to breathe into the belly. Breathe out, the right arm floats up and the left arm's going to scoop up. And it's kind of like both palms. This one's facing the ceiling and this one's towards the wall, but thinking of going towards the ceiling. Breathing in, breathing out, same thing. Left arm, right arm. Breathing in, breathing out. So go at your own pace, at your own breath. Allowing the spine to just go on the journey with the breath and the arms. Seeing if your head and neck are released. How are they feeling? How's the jaw? Is the jaw nice and relaxed as you breathe and move from side to side? And then gently letting the hands come to rest on the thighs. From here, we're just going to slide the hands down the thighs. You can rest on your forearms, and I'm allowing my head to relax forward. You can give a shake of the head, making sure the feet are planted in the ground so they're taking your weight. And then walking the hands back up the legs. So let's just do that twice more, really letting the spine relax over the arms and the legs. So on an out breath, we can curl forward, allowing chin to chest, arms relaxing down to the forearms, making sure the head and neck are released, feet are nice and spread in the ground. Taking an in breath here and an out breath. And then we'll walk the hands back up the legs again, just to do once more, sliding the arms down, chin comes to chest, dropping onto forearms, making sure the head and neck are nice and released, breathing in, breathing out. And again, walking the hands back up the legs to come back up to sitting. So from here, you can stay sitting if that's comfortable for you. We're just going to go into our relaxing part of the yoga. If you wish to, you can come to lying down on the floor. You can have a bolster under the knees, or legs out long, or feet flat on the floor. Get really comfortable. So we're going to stay here for a little while. So doing whatever's comfortable for you. I'm going to come down back onto the mat into Shavasana, which is called the corpse's pose. Don't worry, it's a nice corpse because we're nice and alive and feeling young again. So you can rearrange your body on the floor, perhaps moving the shoulders and ribs. If you need something under the knees to take the pressure off the lower back, absolutely wonderful idea. Or you can have your feet flat on the floor and the knees up towards the ceiling. This is called supine rest. But really making sure the head and neck are nice and released. Arms can be comfortable on the floor there, and the shoulders can relax as well. So I'm going to allow my legs nice and long. Nice and long in Shavasana. Just allowing the breath to come in. A natural breath. Just noticing where the breath is. Perhaps you feel it in your upper chest or in your belly. Maybe you can feel it in your back. Or perhaps in your feet, like the sages breathe. Allowing everything to melt away, dropping into the ground. Softening into the ground. So as you're lying here, you can stay resting or perhaps sitting if you're sitting in a chair. And there is one small thing I'd like to read for you as you're lying here. Of course, you can let it just waft over you completely. Perhaps you've already drifted off. This is also from Vanda Scaravelli's book, Awakening the Spine, that I read at the beginning. This one is a section called The Miracle of Life. The body has its own way of fighting illness and readjusting itself to harmony. We all want to survive and be well, and will find infinite ways to serve our needs. There are no obstacles to this tremendous urge to live. The body will always strive to overcome difficulties impeding its existence. To live is one of the greatest miracles. Just like a tree. The force of life in nature is so astonishingly strong, one asks how it is possible for a plant or a blade of grass to grow in a street, squeezed by heavy concrete, and it still finds its contact with the soil through a tiny little hole where it meets the earth and it lives. So I'd just like to describe for you, if you have your eyes closed, on the opposite side of the page is this huge rock with a great tree growing out of it, and it seems like there's no room for it at all, but there is plenty of space, and it finds a way to grow. So at this unusual time that we all find ourselves in, we could be much like this tree. Perhaps the rock is the strange situation that we are in, that we have to stay at home and we can't go out to do the things that we wish to. But we're this wonderful tree that can grow and survive in all these conditions. And we can do this through breath and movement and being able to feel good in our bodies. So from here, perhaps you've drifted off, and that's completely fine as well. If you wish to, we can come to sitting. We'll just do a very short 5-minute meditation. So I'm just going to rest the candle on here so you can see it. So getting comfortable sitting, if you wish to do the sitting meditation, will just take 5 minutes. So you can sit kneeling or cross-legged, or perhaps sitting on a chair, however you feel comfortable. Really making sure that the spine is nice and long, growing upwards towards the ceiling. When the 5 minutes is up, I'll just blow the candle out as usual and let you know we've come to the end. So wherever you are, if your eyes closed, sitting, or perhaps you're lying on the floor still, we just want to gently open our eyes and then bring our arms all the way up into prayer position and drawing them down, saying Namaste and thank you for coming again. And I hope you enjoyed this video for this week. I keep changing it up for you, but we will go back to revisit things. But the good thing about the video is you can go back and watch it and do the practice as many times or as little as often. Well, see you next time.